Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem, Harakak the bonus, of course, to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well, honest Elachium, doing this work with truth and sincerity, to bring this truth to the scattered elect that are scattered across the four winds, as well as, uh, the Israelite foreigners that may look like the heathens, but go back to, of course, the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as well as Shalom to the hopeful one third. Um, you know, just to warn the sheep, so to speak. As we wait for, you know, the downfall of this place, Babylon, America, as well as the Edomite centric power structure, along with the heathen. Um, we watch for these prophecies and these events that we can call, I guess, turning points, so to speak, um, that lead to bigger things, dominoes, if you will, like Apostle Rakal was talking about. And, this is definitely, you know, one of those possible dominoes for the advent of the third woe and the bringing of the MOTB, and this is a endtimesheadlines.org article, and it says, "Play with fire and you will get burned." China's that's their president, Xi Jinping, uh, fierce warning to Biden on Taiwan in 2-hour call as tensions reach boiling point and White House braces for potential military response to Nancy Pelosi's trip. So, things are picking up, things are heating up. Um, you know, on one hand, you have Putin and the Russian state of Edomites. They're Edomites going against the Edomite power structure of NATO, and now you have Xi Jinping, the dictator of China, um, also standing up to the whore. And they're doing it through proxies, as brothers have explained. This is when two superpowers don't want to get into active conflict right away. They fight through proxies. First, it was, well, not first, but a few years ago in the Obama administration, it was Syria, and you had Russia, and you had the U.S. backing their prospective ally, if you will. In Ukraine, you have NATO-backed troops fighting against Russians and Russian separatists. Um, and now, we have another proxy that looks like it's, about to take place. It's been in the news for, quite some time, but it looks like, tensions haven't died down and things are going to continue to pick up. And this is all to undermine, the legitimacy of NATO. And this is why I don't want to say I speak as a man, but this is why, um, speaking as a man, of course, I think that China and Russia would be so adamant on using proxies, and you're not going to necessarily see just an outright all-out strike by China, in my opinion. Uh, Not first before using proxies. Same with Russia, because they want to generate a narrative that has NATO and principally the U.S. look like the aggressor in the situation. Um, Granted, you know, um, there's no U.S. military base in Ukraine, And something we have to understand is allies aren't always military in nature. Sometimes it could be a trade ally, an import export ally. For instance, you see, so we have to understand that the Most High is putting His spirit on these other nations to rise up against Babylon. And He's also putting His spirit on these NATO countries to further sanction these countries, which in turn pisses them off, because one way to piss off any man and or woman is to play with their money, man. And that's Jake will kill you for I want him $20, man, and he caught you at uh, the plug spot trying to pick up a little 8 ball. Salaki is late. I should have did these earlier. So we have to understand that the Most High is doing the things that He deem fit. He's doing this for the Most High is the director, man, and we are all small, tiny little characters in His gigantic movie, man. So He wants to see these people lifted up and those people trodden down, and it happens, But like I was saying earlier, pursuing, to what Apostle Ricard had said, this is just one of those dominoes, man, in a series of dominoes. Shalakia, that must fall in order for the fall of Babylon to take place, Um, so to read the article and then we'll close. China's President Xi Jinping warned Joe Biden those who play with fire get burned during a 2-hour call Thursday morning amid rising tensions over Taiwan, according to Chinese state media. The fifth call between the two world leaders since Joe Biden took office comes amid simmering tensions and a potential impending visit to Taiwan from Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Biden released an image on Twitter of him in the Oval Office on the phone, and typical Edomite, smiling, doesn't care that he has a world leader threatening his country, and the people that are in there, uh, you know, um, we have to realize Esau at the very elite level, the top levels of power and position and status in this world, are so far removed from reality that he thinks he's gonna be all right, and we know that Biden is a lesser luminary, so to speak. You know, he's not an international banker. He's not, a part of these listen global banking cartels, so to speak. It'd be nothing for them to kill Joe Biden. You see what I'm saying? We have to understand that Joe Biden is sitting here smiling because he believes that he has uh, all power. That you're looking at the smile of a man who thinks that when these thermonuclear ICBMs are launched, that he's going to be in a bunker somewhere. You know, but these people are not safe. And though, damn it, dude. I was not even yawning a minute ago. It's just I turned on the video and now I'm yawning. But those that do survive the destruction of Babylon, they're literally going straight into chains, and they're not going to be sitting down there for an extended period of time, drinking champagne, having orgies, and doing all this kind of weird satanic left-hand side shit, man. They're going to be immediately, hunted down by Yahweh and the elect, and they're going to be put in chains and put into brutal slavery. Not just, oh, pick that cotton, buddy, like, you guys going to be getting the fucking living hell beat out of you on a daily basis. Because why? You know, um, the earth was meant for our sakes. You see what I'm saying? This is a punishment. So just imagine when the child that you put on punishment comes off of punishment and now gets to go let see that bully that framed him, so to speak. Even though, yeah, he didn't frame us, but he took part in our punishment. Let's just say, you know, we weren't wrongly convicted, but Esau Edom was the DA. He was the prosecutor. He was the dude who turned over your homeboy to snitch. You see what I'm saying? He was the one. He was the undercover cop selling you the dope. You know, he was the federal agent. He was the CIA member. He was the DEA operative. He was the ATF agent. He was a U.S. Marshal that was, you know, dapping you up and giving you the pound, and then he was the same motherfucker to arrest you. See what I'm saying? Um, and this devil sits there with a smile on his face because in his heart of hearts he might believe that Esau Edom has a chance here. My military might, and you don't know the half of it, and man. The Most High is tired of you guys, flying around in your fighter jets, using your radar systems, um, fire, trying to fire at his chariots. You've not only have you committed acts of war against each other, but you've committed acts of war against the Heavenly Father. You're shooting at a so-called UFO or unidentified flying object. You see what I'm saying? Not knowing that technically, by your own reasons, that is an act of war. So you've already declared war on the Heavenly Father, regardless of if you're, you know, actively fighting him. You've declared war. You fired on the chariots, and there's video of that. Um, you've put your hands on his people. That's an act of war, you see, and you're going to get exactly what you asked for. You and the rest of the heathen, you know. Um, reading on, um, today I spoke with President P. So here we have Biden lying. So we're just gonna skip that part because listening to that Edomite lie is fucking ridiculous. The last time Biden and Xi Jinping spoke was in March of this year, shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine. Chinese state media released some excerpts from the call, including Xi telling Biden, "Those who play with fire will only get burnt." Hope the U.S. side can see this clearly. The leader of the People's Republic of China also said he firmly opposes Taiwan independence and the interference of external forces. On the other hand, Biden expressed the U.S. stance on the issue has not changed, according to a read out of the meeting. And you got to understand why the U.S. is even meddling its foot in the Taiwan China escalation situation. The reason the U.S. has a stake in Taiwan's independence is because they don't want them to fall under the People's Republic of China. This would give China millions upon millions of more people than um, it already has. Millions of people. Not to mention, the U.S. has a strategic advantage if Taiwan remains independent, and they can forge a meaningful relationship with Taiwan. Why is this? Because Taiwanese people are, for all intents and purposes, actual Moabites. They are Moab. China acknowledges them as Moabites or as Chinese people. You see what I'm saying? And we have to understand that just like Russia and Ukraine, um, this is the thinking of President Xi Jinping. Now, the U.S., being the wise devil that it is, knows that having Taiwan as an ally is very beneficial in fighting against the um, the imperialization of China. With 1 billion+ people, a very powerful military, a very strong economy, um, and very, very, very smart scientists. Um, Another thing is we have to understand language. Language is a big part of warfare because both countries spy on each other. So if you have Ukrainians that have grown up speaking Russian, you see what I'm saying? That is an asset to the U.S. military industrial complex. If you have Taiwanese citizens that speak Mandarin, Cantonese, various other Chinese dialects. That is very beneficial to NATO and the U.S. objective. You see, um, let's scroll down a little bit. U.S. military leaders warn of emerging threat from China and claim that Pelosi's trip to Taiwan could cause ripple effects, and that it will. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, which she's been there forever. Like, fuck. Um, Her going to Taiwan is a show of allegiance to the Taiwanese people, which bolsters their resilience against the Chinese, the Moabite um, agenda, which is, to have more of their people on their side, um, which rightfully so anchors the the leadership there in China or the land of Moab. You see, um, uh, tensions have been raising recently as Beijing has issued escalation warning about repercussions should Pelosi visit to Taiwan go ahead. So China is now in a position where, they have the U.S. military on alert because they're threatening to shoot, a a a U.S. cabinet member, not just anybody, but a U.S. cabinet member. And what does that do? That shows your nation to be weak. For a long time, people thought, if you're a U.S. citizen and something goes wrong in another country, the U.S. will fucking move heaven and earth, to get you back. And for a very short time, that was the truth. The U.S. would fucking move heaven and earth to say, well, an Edomite American citizen, I'll say, you know. Um, but now that's not the case, Look at the tall abomination, fucking Brittany Griner. She's sitting in a Russian prison, and they're gonna trade a Russian criminal, more than likely a spy, um, for a WNBA player who wants to fucking get high in other people's countries and disregard, the laws. Not that we should obey the laws of man rather than the laws of the Heavenly Father, but in obeying the laws of the Heavenly Father, you kind of fall into obeying the laws of man without even trying to do so, if you kind of understand that. But anyways, not to talk forever, um, as you can see, Biden not taking the shit serious. If you remember when Trump was in office, if Xi Jinping was saying this kind of shit, you would see a whole different look on Donald J. Trump's face, Barack Hussein Obama's face. George Bush wouldn't even go for that shit. And you notice, one thing about warfare, one thing about killing, you strike when your opponent's weak, man. And this is what Russia sees. This is what China sees. This is what Iran sees. This is what, NATO's eventually going to see, when the beast turns and hates the whore. So we have to understand, man, that, everything's being set up perfectly by the Most High. Because, let's be realistic, China wasn't doing this in the Bush administration. Russia wasn't doing this in the Bush administration. China wasn't doing this as severely as it is in the Biden administration, as it was in the Obama administration, or vice versa. You see, China wasn't doing this anywhere near the same level it was during the Trump administration. Neither was Russia. You see, and this is what we have to understand. We have to understand that the Most High is purposefully weakening the nation while we're out here giving sanctions. We can't even afford to control our gas prices. We are officially in another recession. We are about to see a nationwide supply chain shortage. We're about to see experience rolling blackouts. You know, you name it, it's gonna happen. All because the Most High's softening this place's ass up for those final blows. You know, right now, Salakia, right now, the Heavenly Father is, you know, he's putting together that combination. He's throwing out that feeler jab. He's trying to get you to open up for that possible hook or uppercut. So you know, right now it's body shots. You know, tear down your stamina. You know, take your head out of the game. And right now, you know, we're a amateur boxer fighting against Mike Tyson in his prime. You know, and we have to understand the Most High is, you know, like Tyson in his prime, like that pit bull, like just picking apart his opponent, man, piece by piece. You know, opening, you know, Babylon up for that next punch. You know, he threw that jab. Now that cross is coming. Oh shit. Oh, he opened himself up for an uppercut. Oh shit. Now he got a kidney shot. See what I'm saying? And eventually, you know, we're gonna be hit with that knockout. You know, so Lord will, you know, we be pleasing to the Heavenly Father, and we be of that number, you know, so that we don't have to experience that death by pain, man. We've already had enough fucking bullshit here in Babylon, man. You know, if the Lord's really dealing with you, and I'm not saying that say it to myself, but like the scriptures do say, and the elders always said, man, you should be catching some type of hell in this thing. So if shit's sweet, and you're gonna go to the bar every week, and you got a new shorty every other month and shit, you probably ain't really catching no hell, bruh. You know, if you and your girl's cool, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no baby mama, you ain't got no baby mama drama. You, you ain't got no rent to pay, you know? You gotta really, really ask yourself if you're in this thing. You know, it's easy to do fucking 5, 10, 12 videos a week when shit's good and you're not worried about fucking rent and you got a car to drive, or you could drive your mom's or your dad's, you know, to get to work, you know. Shit's easy when you're the only motherfucker you gotta feed and you don't got no kid. You know, you're not on child support. They ain't garnishing your paychecks at work, you know. So, you know, hey, you know, if that's the case, man, really inspect yourself, man. Because you don't want to fucking be purified by those thermonuclear ICBMs. I'd much rather, you know, have to go through some things here and there in Babylon. Not saying I want all the hell by any means, no. Like the elder told me one time, hey, I pray that, you know, Abaratazai, the Most High don't put more on me than I can handle, and I fall away from this thing, you know, and that's part of this too, man. And that's something you brothers should be praying, you know. You ask for a whole bunch of hell, you know, and I've seen, and I've seen brothers that, you know, you get a little build up in the spirit, and then you start asking to catch hell, and then the Most High fell that curveball that was too much, and now your ass is not, you know, I don't want to talk shit, but not able to come to camp no more. You ain't able to go to the highways and byways no more, man. I seen it firsthand, man. You know, so you know, Abaratazah, that the Most High don't put more on you than you're able to bear, as well as Abaratazah, he don't put more on myself than I'm able to bear, man. Because you know, this is the beginning of the end. And that's the point of this video. This is the beginning of the end, yo, and it's high time to stop bullshitting. It's high time to stop playing games. It's high time to stop, to put away that old man, you know, and I say that to myself too, you know, because I've slipped up on with cigarettes here and there, and I'm trying to grow. I really am, you know, but you know, as they say, you know, a righteous man falleth 7 times, you know, when none of us is gonna be perfect on this go around, and you know, Continue to do it for the right reasons. Don't be doing this to be seen a men, because those dudes is gonna get exposed here very, 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 very soon. If you got a whole bunch of views on your shit, more than likely the Lord is not really dealing with you like that, because look at the years it took the elders to get a substantial number of views, man. And you just come in fly by night, nah, nah. So don't worry about that shit, man. You know, the fact remains, we know this truth don't change for nobody. So this no brothers coming in here hot shit, da 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 da. We already know what that is. You know what I'm saying? The truth don't change for nobody, man. Take brothers and elders years to get on a certain level. You're not just gonna come in here and because you know this, that, and the third, you're super deep. So just we have to understand our place, man, and understand that this place is coming to an end, man. Like I said a minute ago, this is the beginning of the end, and we have to be prepared for such. And I hate that I'm all over the place. I'm just a little tired, so like you. Um, but remember why you doing this, man. Fuck the praise, man. I don't care if you get 0 views on your shit, man, or 50, or 100. That's not the case. This is Matthew 24:6, and it says, "Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." So you see, Russia is in the Ukraine fighting. You hear rumors of wars because you see Xi Jinping is threatening to invade Taiwan. So this is fully functioning Matthew 24:6 right now. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end is not yet. You see, for all, and why is that? Because MOTB before World War III. So that mark has to be pushed to the whole world before it even really turns up like that, man. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So we're in the time of the beginning of sorrows. We're in the time, when there's going to be skirmishes here and there kicked off. There's going to be, and this is what's going to help usher in that uh, that central bank digital currency, man. Because war is economically beneficial to those in charge, and especially those that make weapons and such. However, in a modern, technologically advanced time, if you will, in order to have control, Esau Edom is going to push the MOTB in order to have better control of the population, man, in order to track dollars, in order to track people, in order to control, you see. It'll be his way to ostracize those that would otherwise oppose him, you see. Because think about it, right now, what did Russia do when they got the sanctions put on them? They switched trading on the U.S. dollar, and now they trade um, oil for the ruble. But if Esau Edom, through the central banking families, are able to push the digital currency, and everything must be bought or sold through a digital currency, that would give China, Russia, and these other nations that don't want to fall into Esau's trap ammunition to launch their nuclear missiles on this place, man. But not to be too long-winded. I've been talking for a while. Lord willing, this was edifying for you. You know, Xi Jinping put it best, man. Play with fire and you will get burned. And all these nations are playing with the Heavenly Father. None of these nations go and bow their faces before the Heavenly Father in spirit and in truth and ask Him what His will is for the Lord. And because they don't do that, the Most High is going to control them anyway to destroy each other before He comes and finishes them off. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua Ratazah, you're edified. Um, Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua Shem Harakat Kodash. Double honors, of course, to the apostle. Notice a great millstone of rule well. Honors to you, Akim, out there doing this work of truth and sincerity, as well as Shalom to the hopeful 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.